And good Tuesday morning, 3 minutes past 10 o'clock. Randy Roberson with you on KRIM's Community Spotlight. And as we do the second Tuesday of every month, we have with us today nutritionist, author of the book 7 Secrets of Healthy, Happy People, Erleen Tilton with us. And Erleen, good to have you in here this morning.
It's always good to be here. I really enjoy it.
And I know your cohort, Donnalynn Williams, couldn't be with you today, and we hope to have her back here next month. But
yes.
Now, in looking through some of the talking notes about today's show, it sounds like you have a really big focus on making sure you get enough rest.
You know what? I think there's so many people in today's world that don't get a good night's sleep.
Right.
And to me, that's the way that we regenerate. I mean, we are active in the day, we regenerate at night. Sleep is so important, and most people that I talk to don't get a good night's sleep, and that's a problem. It affects everything when we don't get a good night's rest.
Right. And I know that I read before about the importance of our circadian rhythms and things like that, and keeping a routine to your sleep patterns is kind of important.
Absolutely. And as we kind of go through this information, we'll understand why it's important to get a good 8 hours of sleep. The interesting thing, I will tell you, I speak from experience, and I follow the things that we're going to discuss today, and I sleep well. People think they've got to have a good mattress, they think all of this other stuff that's really not. I have a good bed, but literally I can sleep a good 8 hours on the couch. I do a lot of traveling, I sleep on all kinds of beds, all kinds of sofas, all kinds of areas that people think they couldn't get a good night's rest, and yet I can still get a good 8 hours, and they really shoot for that. In fact, a couple of nights ago, I went to bed about 10:30. I woke up at 6:15, which is almost 8 hours, and I realized I hadn't even moved during the night. I hadn't turned over. And many times I have nights like that.
Right.
So it's possible to have a good night's sleep, and we need to have that every night, and most people don't even come close to that.
Well, and again, in looking through the talking points, the first point that you wanted to make is get out of beta. What's this all about?
Well, we have to understand that we have 5 different brain waves. One is delta. That is actually our deep sleep.
Right.
Then we have theta, which is kind of a state of meditation and being very, very deep consciousness. And then we have alpha. That is our relaxation time, but yet it's our creative time. It's our time to be able to think and communicate, maybe spiritually and internally. And then we have beta. Beta is really our high conscious level. It's our high stress mode. It's where we learn and assimilate, and it's kind of that high stimulus mode.
Right.
And then we have gamma, which is our epiphany, aha moments, and as they say, peak performance.
Right.
So we have those 5 different brain waves, but most of us are stuck in beta mode all day long, and it's because we get up, the first thing we do is get on our cell phones. We're in high stress job modes, we're stuck to our computer, it's high race, high traffic, and every moment we go back to our cell phones, we're in this high stress, and we come home at night and people get on action movies, and they're in high stimulus mode all day long for 16 to 18 hours a day. Well, your brain was never meant to function that way. So if you're in high stimulus mode and you never give your mind the time to relax, then basically you can't go to sleep. You won't go to sleep.
Well, I think we've all heard people that say, my mind was racing, and I've been thinking about the situations of the day, maybe problems at work or with the family or whatever, and you get so caught up in all of these things, you can't shut it off. So, or at least they think they can't shut it off. So what do?
So what we can do is actually, first of all, schedule blocks of time for either social media, for your work, for those things, but you've also you've got to schedule time to relax. get away from it all. Put the cell phone away. Have healthy conversations with people without
Oh,
your
you mean
cell
like
phone.
face to face?
Yes, like face
Wow.
to face. Even couples don't know how to talk to each other.
Right.
If they have 10 minutes, they don't even know what to say to each other.
Mhm.
And it's so sad. I mean, go for a walk. Look at the birds. Listen to the birds and enjoy the fresh air. Get outside. Get away from your electronics. Just get away from this for a period of time, because this puts you in that alpha mode where you can relax and think and be creative. That's another thing, is take time to be creative. Creative in thought. People just don't have those creative minds anymore.
Right.
And it's sad.
It really is. Now, as far as getting ready for sleep, it sounds like when you're talking about getting past all of the worries of the day and messing with your phone and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, is there kind of a rule of thumb as far as how
Yes,
long
we're
before
gonna get into
bedtime?
this.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
that's number 4.
Okay, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. All right, so now we talked a little bit about what you can do. And your next talking point is improve your digestion. I didn't see that one coming.
Yes, most people don't even think that as a problem when it comes to sleep. And it's huge. It's huge because stop and think about it. If you eat a lot of processed foods with a lot of chemicals and basically that slows down your digestion. And all those processed foods do. If you don't get enough nutrients, which is a requirement for a healthy digestion, you have to have the nutrients. If you don't, your digestion slows down. If you don't drink enough water, pure water, your digestion slows down. And people say, well, I drink sport drinks, soft drinks, milk, juice. None of those are cleansing. So they're completely the opposite of water. Water is your cleanser. We eat to nourish, we drink water to cleanse. Not any of these other drinks. And most people don't get enough water. So guess what? Their digestion slows down. Your liver, your kidneys, your colon has no way to function properly without enough water. And if all those things slow down, guess what? You do too. So if your gut and your digestion, your metabolism slows down, so do you. And that is what creates stress. Stop and think about it. Your body cannot function, and you're trying to digest food way into the night where you shouldn't be. And a lot of people are eating late at night in another sense. And so you're trying to digest all night. Well, your body's meant to relax at night. You want to rest and be able to have your body continue, but not be in this high digestion mode and your body stressed from your digestion.
Interesting. So I'm assuming then that watching what you eat and when you eat, and of course the water thing is real important. I got to ask real quick on the water. I've heard varying descriptions of how many 8-ounce glasses of water we're supposed to drink today. What's your view?
Well, I've heard that the minimum should be half of your body's weight in ounces. So if you weigh 130 pounds, then that's 65 ounces minimum. But during the summer when it's hot, when you're exercising, if you're nursing, if you're trying to lose weight, there's a lot of different factors that you really need to increase that water intake.
That's interesting. So if you're, obviously the cleansing concept with the water makes sense, but even with the food, if you're eating too close to the time to going to bed, or if you're eating a lot of processed food, the fact that your body's having to work harder on digesting that is actually helping keep your body from completely relaxing and getting better rest.
Absolutely.
Huh.
So we need to make sure that we're getting good healthy foods in our meals. We need to make sure that we're drinking good water. And I always say, if you want to increase your cleansing and your digestive abilities, add those 2 or 3 drops of lemon essential oil all throughout the day, because that's a healthy stimulant. It's not an artificial stimulant. It's a healthy stimulant, and it helps to cleanse and detox. That's what we want to do. We want to have a good, healthy metabolism. When we have the nutrients, we supply our body with the nutrients, but we're also cleansing. And we're cleansing throughout the day, so we have a better digestion. If we sabotage our digestion in all of these other ways, then it creates stress on our bodies, and we can't relax.
And now, one of the other points that you have here talks about raising your energy during the day.
Yes.
And I think there's a whole bunch of us that would like to find creative ways to do that.
Yes, and you know what? Lack of energy and lack of sleep basically go together.
You bet.
If you don't have enough energy during the day, you won't sleep well at night. Look at children. Children are ones that, they're active, unless you've given them a cell phone or a tablet or
Right.
whatever. But they play hard, and at the end of the day, they're out. Well, what's most of our lives today? We are more sedentary. We are sitting a good part of the day. And if we are sitting a good part of the day, our body is in kind of a relaxed mode. So at night, we've been relaxing all day. Our body doesn't have the need to sleep. And so even though we're tired, the fact is we've got to raise our energy levels in the day. So this means looking around, finding ways to exercise. I think there's so many ways that we can exercise and find ways to exercise. I mean, even if you have a 10-minute break, go run up and down stairs, go outside and get some fresh air without your cell phone. Turn the cell phone off.
Right.
And, take a walk around the building 2 or 3 times, brisk walk, in the parking lots. Just find ways to raise your energy.
Now, is it a matter of needing to raise your heartbeat?
Absolutely,
heart
absolutely.
rate?
Well, just a physical energy overall. We need to raise our heartbeat. We need to raise our physical energy overall. And most people don't get good physical exercise every day. And people say, well, I try to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. That's what they're told. It's like, that's not good enough. You eat every day. You need to exercise every day. We
Right.
get up every day. We need to exercise every day. So find ways to exercise every day. And then I will say another thing too, is that if you are living on stimulants, coffee in the morning, energy drinks, and taking stimulants all day long to get that energy,
Right.
it's going to be harder to sleep at night.
Okay, and so that, kind of goes along with, when it comes to people that are, oh, if I have problems sleeping, I'll just take a sleeping pill.
Well,
That's not really a good idea.
no, it's not. And so we need to reverse this. We really need to reverse it and say, I'm going to create that natural energy. Get out and exercise. Let go of the energy drinks. Get a good, eat good, drink that water, and get out and exercise. That's what's going to get your body physically active during the day so that you can be really, truly tired at night.
Now, if you just tuned in, we're talking, as we do once a month on the second Thursday of every month, with Erleen Tilton. She is a nutritionist and the author of the book 7 Secrets of Healthy, Happy People, and been talking about the, certainly the importance of getting a good night's sleep. And I have to say, the older I've become, the more religious I get when it comes to protecting the amount of sleep that I get every night. And if I occasionally stray away from my routine, man, does it affect me the next day.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal. But now you've also talked about the effects of digestion on your sleep. What are some ways that we can improve our digestion?
Ways that we can improve our digestion. I feel like, first of all, we've got to get a lot of good enzymes. And if you don't, first of all, our enzymes come from our raw fruits and vegetables. Most people don't get enough raw fruits and vegetables. They don't get enough nutrients in their diet. So you can improve your digestion by getting more enzymes, more probiotics. All of those are really good.
Now, are there natural probiotics? I think a lot of people know about yogurt and things like that.
There's not enough
Really?
probiotics in
Not that
yogurt
big
to
a deal?
really mean. So
Good, because I never really liked it anyway.
So I know that there are a lot of other drinks out there that have the kombucha and but the raw sauerkrauts, those are good. But I think it's just really okay, and I'm okay with this and taking a good probiotic every day. I have one that I really like that I feel like good probiotics, that is what keeps your friendly flora in your gut on the positive. We need some negative, but we need mostly positive in our gut. And so Get the enzymes, get the probiotics, get your fresh fruits and vegetables, get your clean water, get your high nutrient foods, eat those, get a good multiple. And most people get multiples that have a lot of synthetics in them, and those aren't good either. So it's just being choosy.
Right. And again, it comes back also to staying away from all the processed foods, and more
Absolutely.
and more. Man, I mean, that's we see that just about everywhere these days.
Not only processed foods, but stay away from all the stimulants. Like I said, those are what people just go for because they want the energy, but that's not what is going to give you less lasting energy. Real true energy comes from having a clean system.
Right.
And so get rid of all those chemicals that you're consuming, including all those stimulants and energy drinks. Eat good nutrition and get it through the form of vitamins and minerals, fruits and vegetables, and drink pure water. Get that lemon essential oil in there because that's what's going to create that good metabolism and digestion and cleansing process that we want to happen naturally.
And you mentioned that when it comes to that cleansing, real important to drink enough water and to be able to cleanse the system. If someone is listening that perhaps has just been eating a lot of processed food and they know it and they really need to make a change, is there a benefit to a real concerted focus to begin with on cleansing a lot of the toxins out of your body? Or is it best just to go with this change in your daily routine?
Well, I have a whole program, and I'm gonna, actually you can email me, ask@erleentilton.com. That's ERLEENTILTON. And I'm always glad to help people that really have a good desire to do a detox, because to me that's really, really important. But basically what I can just suggest is do some intermittent fasting. That, just skip the first meal of the day and drink lots and lots and lots of water. If you want to do some herbal teas with stevia in it, that's okay. But more or less you want to just put your body in a state of cleansing and detox mode. And so occasionally just skip that first meal of the day, but then the rest of the meals, make sure they're healthy meals.
That's something that I've been doing for, matter of fact, by skipping the first meal of the day. I know some people say, I got to have, breakfast, and there's been all of this marketing hype for decades about, the most important meal of the day. And anyway, I haven't done breakfast, but with rare occasion for a number of years. And when I actually went to that, I dropped 40 pounds quick, and it stayed off, which I thought was kind of nice. But now I really don't have much of an interest in breakfast.
Well, if you stop and think about what all the breakfast foods are,
right?
Cereal, pancakes, waffles, toast, bagels. I mean, it's just carbs, 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 carbs.
Right.
And you know what? Your body is never meant to even digest that many carbs.
Right.
I mean, really? And then we get all these carbs throughout the day. It really sabotages our digestion. We do need carbs for fuel, but basically we can get plenty of carbs from just eating vegetables.
Right.
I mean, vegetables and proteins, and healthy fats are a much better source of good balanced carbs, proteins, and fats, which is what we really need. Get rid of all the green carbs. That's what I do. And especially the processed carbs. They just really do sabotage our health.
Easy for you to say.
and not only that, they pack on the pounds.
Right. So it's interesting. So and I would assume that someone that's working, construction at a job site or something with a lot of, physical, muscle work during the day, carbs is going to be a little bit more important to them than the office secretary who's sitting behind the desk.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting. What are some of the other big mistakes people make when it comes to, in our society in general, with the choices that they make on food that really could be sabotaging their health overall?
Well, I think, the processed foods is the biggest one. The processed foods, and most people just go to that. The biggest thing I tell people, if you really want to make a change in your overall health, just add more raw fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables. People get the fruits. I see people loading their carts with all these carb stuff, and then they go into the produce section and they get apples and peaches. but they don't eat vegetables.
Mhm.
We are greatly lacking on our vegetables. So if I were to say the biggest change you could do to your health is eat more vegetables and drink more clean water. That's it. You know, we're getting usually enough proteins and we're getting usually enough fats, but we're not getting enough fresh fruits and vegetables. That's where our fibers, our micronutrients are. This is what we are greatly lacking.
You know, and I grew up as a kid. Actually, I never really grew up, but as a kid, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of vegetables. Kind of towards the bottom of the list would be broccoli, or especially Brussels sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife and I are both foodies, and been in the restaurant business, and so it's amazing. You can find some recipes, and I've had Brussels sprouts that were absolutely delicious, and I hate Brussels sprouts. So I mean, you can find recipes that'll help you get that intake, but not necessarily make you suffer through it.
Absolutely. And it's just a matter of just eating them until you like them. Like anything else, your taste buds grow accustomed and start craving the things that you eat most.
Right.
And if you're starting your children out on all these processed carbs, well, guess what? That's what their taste buds are acquired to, wanting and eating. And you've got to start them out on more vegetables, more whole foods, and
Real food.
Real food, and keep on feeding them.
Mhm.
If people say, well, my kids won't eat vegetables, it's because you never feed them to them. So you start feeding them and let them know that this is what they're eating. So
Right. Makes sense. Now, the one of the things in towards the end of your talking points here, you talk about you need to prepare for a good night's sleep.
right.
And again, I guess this probably goes back to what you said early on. It's not necessarily having just the right pillow or mattress.
Right. Well, I think the biggest thing to prepare for a good night's sleep is go to bed 8 hours before you plan to get up.
Right.
Most people go to bed way late, they're getting up way early, and so they only plan for 5 to 6 hours. You know what? Your body needs 8 hours.
Right.
Some people can get away with 7 hours, but you know what? They catch up on the weekend. I mean, your body needs more sleep than you think.
Mhm.
So plan for 8 hours of sleep. Go to bed at least 8 hours before you plan to get up.
And this not only affects just how you feel in the morning, but I mean this has a positive effect on many different systems within the body. Sleep is super important for a lot of things.
Super, super important.
I think I'm going to take a nap right now.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. By the way, we're also coming to you live on Facebook Live. Edna and Nanette both say good morning.
Good morning.
And glad to have you joining us. Now, when it comes to preparing for sleep, one of the things you also mentioned early on is not eating too close to bedtime. What's a
Right.
good rule of thumb? I mean, if you, like for me, I have to get up at dark 30 every day. And so for me, 7:30 is about time for me to call it quits, because I get up long before the sun does. And if I fudge on that a little bit, I pay the price the next day. So if just as an illustration, if bedtime is 7:30, when is the latest that I should eat?
7:30. Wow, you're going to bed pretty early, so.
Lunch?
Yeah. Well, I would say for a normal person that's going to bed at 10 or 11, have your 6 o'clock meal.
Right.
And, you're usually eating from 6 to 6:30 or 6 to 7 or whatever. But then don't have all these, late evening and midnight snacks.
Right.
So if you're really going to bed at 7:30, maybe, 4 or 3.
I have to do the senior buffet now. Oh goodness. But it makes sense. I mean, it actually makes perfect sense. And if you are really drinking the amount of water that you're talking about that everybody needs, that also right there is going to cut down on any hunger that you have between meals and stuff,
Right.
because you're keeping yourself not only filled with water but flushed with water.
And what I try to do is in the evening time, because sometimes we want something, so I usually do a glass of herbal tea. Even at this time of year,
Mhm.
I usually put the ice in and put herbal tea and maybe put in a little bit of fat, cream
Mhm.
or coconut milk to, I don't know, give me a little bit of whatever satiation in the evening time, but that you're not really eating, but drink up until about 1 hour before you go to bed, because You don't want to be up all night, getting up and to go to the bathroom too. I find that if I quit drinking an hour before bedtime, or I try to quit drinking about 9 o'clock,
Right.
that's my rule of thumb. And then I don't have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So basically, try to drink maybe something in the evening, or do most of your drinking between meals,
Mhm.
and maybe a couple of hours after meal if you start feeling, a need for something. But don't do any more eating, and don't drink, for an hour, hour and a half before you go to bed.
Now, I think you've made some fantastic points that really make a lot of sense. I have to admit that I'm a little saddened that the word bacon never came up once
Oh.
during our conversation. But we need to, in conclusion though, and in all seriousness, we need to cut out the sleeping aids. If you're taking Sominex or something like that, that's bad. Just don't even go down that road.
Absolutely.
What are some other, just to kind of wrap this all up, what are some other just bullet points that people need to keep in mind?
Well, first of all, we talked about the electronics. Get away from your electronics, 30 to 60 to 90 minutes before you go to bed. That is huge. And even if you like to watch a movie, at the end of the day, make sure it's it's a calming, it's a good movie. It's not an action movie. It's something that's going to calm you. So do things that calm you. Music, a nice warm bath with Epsom salts. In fact, I have a really good Epsom salts calming bath salts. If you're interested in that. In fact, I'm offering my free ebook, and I'll tell you in just a minute. Actually, you can go to that email address that I gave earlier.
Right.
ask@erleentilton.com. But and this is my whole ebook on sleep, and it would really help people, and that is free. But just learn to relax at night. One of the things I do religiously before I go to bed at night is I add a Serenity essential oil blend on the back of my neck. I rub it on the back of my neck, and then I swipe it under my nose and kind of inhale it. Sometimes I put it back on the bottoms of my feet if I've had a stressful day and I know I'm a little wired. So on the bottoms of your feet, it goes straight into your bloodstream. So bottoms of your feet, back of your neck, inhale it just a little bit. Or some people like to put a diffuser. Lavender is very good for calming. I love the Serenity just a little bit better. There's other essential oils that can help you calm. So they actually go to the cellular level, and they really help your body to relax.
Right.
So if you can do all these other things, make sure you've got good, healthy digestion during the day, raising your energy, getting off your electronic devices, and don't stay in that beta mode all day, and just try to relax at night. Prepare your body literally for sleep, and then you can have a good night's rest.
Outstanding. Now, this book that you're offering, is this the 7 Secrets of Healthy, Happy People?
No,
Okay.
actually it is a sleep ebook. It's just an ebook on sleep. And I will be glad to send it to anybody free if you just email me at and then my name, ERLEENTILTON.com.
Outstanding.
So,
And Erleen, it's been really interesting. I'm looking forward to next month, because it seems like every question makes me want to ask 2 or 3 more, and I know we're out of time. But best of luck with what you're doing. And again, if you want to get a copy of that ebook on how to help your own sleep, just send an email to ask@Erleen Tilton. That's ERLEENTILTON.com, and she'll get you hooked up. Erleen, thanks again for coming down.
you're welcome. Always good to be here.
All right, and thank you for tuning in and listening this morning to our Community Spotlight on KRIM. Going to get you back to more of your favorite music. Got ELO coming up for you, Heights, and a whole bunch more. But first, a look at weather.